Well, how you feeling? John Riggs here. Want to get you the GPI case from RetroFlag. This is courtesy of Yakima Mods on Facebook. I'm going to link them in the description below. They provided me this unit here for the purpose of this video. However, they didn't ask for a video. They just said like, "Hey, we have these things. We think they're cool. They're portable RetroPies. It's a Game Boy case looking RetroPie. Do you want to check out?" I said, "Yes, please." But I'm going to do a video anyway because I think these are pretty neat. So when you get one of these, it comes with the case and it comes with the screws. To put it together is super simple. If you've never put together like a RetroPie setup, like using a Raspberry Pi, you know what I mean? They also help you on that Facebook page too. There's a lot of help and a lot of support. I put one together once using step-by-step instructions. So even I'm not technically savvy. However, I was able to figure it out with their help too. So they try to make it as streamlined as possible for you. So this is what the case looks like when you get it. This is just the box, of course. Talks a little bit about the stats on the side here. It has a 320 by 240 pixel screen. It's kind of like a Game Boy Advance size. It has headphones. It can use AAA or AA batteries rather, or you can use the plug-in it comes with. And it comes with some other neat features too, and we'll look at those right here. So here's what it looks like. Very Game Boy looking, doesn't it? Well, it has the extra buttons here, so not just the A and B for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, or not, sorry, Nintendo Game Boy, Game Boy Advanced to an extent as well, but also features the Y and X, which you can use for, like, say, Super Nintendo games and more. But you're also thinking, like, well, what about the L and R triggers? What about the L and R triggers? This looks like a Game Boy. The L and R triggers are right here. That's what those are. I guess that's the best place you can put them, and when you're holding it like this, I mean, they're pushable. It's a little awkward. They're pushable, but it's again, you can find so many games that you would play on something like this. I don't use L and R buttons. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, Street Fighter 2, I guess. I mean, does anybody use the look forward a frame or look backward a frame or a screen on Super Mario World? I mean, I did the first time I did just so I could see it, and I never used it. So. Plenty to do here, and of course with the RetroPie you can also do MAME, you can do TurboGrafx 16, and a lot more too. So I'm going to show you what happens here. I'll just show you a little bit about the thing. Here's the volume control, also has the contrast, there's your plug-in right there. It does include the plug, it's USB based. You can plug in your headphones, and again right here, 3 AA batteries. And here's the game. Now, the game is actually not quite a game. Watch this, I thought this was pretty neat. The whole thing comes off. And this is where you're going to fit your Raspberry Pi Zero. Now, if you're not familiar with Raspberry Pi Zero, here's one. Here's what one looks like. Pretty neat. Micro SD card slot goes there. Here's your HDMI mini port, which we're not going to use because we're going to be putting this into that guy there. However, if you just got one of these out of the box and you loaded it up with a RetroPie, you'd plug in that to your TV and it would work just fine. And then two of the these two HDMI, not HDMI, these two micro USB, like for 2 controllers or 1 controller and for power. But again, we're going to use this to put into this, and it's optimized as such with what this includes, because this guy right here is your port of passage, and it includes this guy right here, and that's what we're going to use. So. Along with those, it also included a couple of screws. You've included the screwdriver. That makes it really handy. I think I need to use this side first. It's Phillips side, flat side. And we're just going to go ahead and do this right now. How about that? So the first thing is, it comes with this little ribbon cable. That's your port. That's the thing that says, go from the RetroPie device. Well, I'm going to put it in this kind of player 1 slot right there. And then you can see right there, there's a little bracket right here. That's kind of the lock. Right now it's unlocked. You can push it down, locks it into place, so it prevents it, or, supposed to keep it from sliding around and everything. It doesn't really lock in place for you. You just kind of have to feel for it, but once it's in there, there, see, you actually don't want to do that too much. But that's how that works. And then these knobs here, they don't fit into there. They just kind of rest on top. But it rests pretty easy. And while this is here, I have this SD card slot. This is already loaded with the RetroPie image. And you'll see what I'm talking about. And again, through the Yakima Mods site or Facebook page, you'll find the image that you need to write onto here. When I say write, I don't mean just drag and drop like I tried to do the first time, saying, it's not working. You need to use something like Etcher to say, okay, put this image, it's like an image file, put this image and write it onto this so it knows what it's talking about. And that makes it optimized. So instead of using the HDMI, it uses the port for your Game Boy, so it'll actually play it on the screen. This screen is backlit, by the way. Or it lights up. I don't know if it's considered backlit or how that works. So there it is, and there you go. Now, before we get too far into this here, we want to take this guy, and see these screws here? This thing will fit right into place. It's optimized for this thing here. And comes with these little, I know you can't see it because my big old fingers are in the way. And this is going to keep it from sliding around. It shouldn't be sliding around anyway, but this is just going to keep it in place. Just like such. Try another one over here. Do-do-do-do. In the meantime, I thank you for watching. Got some conventions coming up. I want you to join me at the Game On Expo in Phoenix. Then a couple weeks later, I'll be at PAX West. I'm not hosting a panel or anything at PAX West. I'm just going there to hang out and have fun. And then the Portland Retro Gaming Expo is always the highlight. And that's always a blast. And that will be the one I'm actually bringing my daughters to. Looking forward to that as well. If you're wondering, sometimes my daughters are featured in these videos. And if you're wondering where they are, they're actually, believe it or not, on a cruise right now. Looking for the other one. There it is. The device, it came with a little pack, just like this. This little pack here that had screws. It had that pack there was the Raspberry Pi. But it also came with these screws and then 4 additional screws. Oh, come on. Got like Wreck-It Ralph's hands. These giant meat hook, meaty hands here. Come on. You can actually make me do this. So we can dump it out, try again. Well, fine. Now I suppose you could, it came with instructions. I could follow them, I guess. Are you kidding me? It gets to the point after a while where it's like, the other 3 are in. Do I need a 4th one? Yeah, since I'm here, yeah, I'll do it anyway. Just because, for ASMR reasons, you're probably eating your cereal right now. Oh my goodness gracious, are you serious on this? I guess you could do this first and then apply the ribbon later. That way I wouldn't be like in the way so far every time. Oh my. Patience. Patience is the key. Breathe deeply. And how some people do this like every day, all the time, man, is beyond me. I like doing stuff like this. But when there's one screw that doesn't want to go in there, and so much of me just says, you know what, I don't need it. It will work fine without it. And it will. But because it's there, careful. See, that's why I could never be a surgeon. There we go, finally. After a while, I'll just be like, never mind. Take it away. And that's it. And then this part goes right back on top. Now, before you do that, it also came with this little case here. This is going to keep your SD card from getting dust in there. So you just kind of put that there. I'm going to put this guy right on top. And now these guys, can take this, flip it around like such. And if I can, hopefully these will be a lot easier to manage. Oh, even better. For some reason the other side didn't have a magnetic tip. This one seems to. Get that in there, tight. because once it's in, you won't need to worry about opening it again. If you're like, well, you need to do something with the SD card, again, don't need to worry about it, because you have this little door, this little hatch, and is optimized for your SD card. Okay, just like that. And I can't find the other screw. Lovely. Well, in this case, we won't worry about it. Put that in there like that. I don't have the 3 AA batteries on me. I do have the cord it came with. So let's plug it in and watch it not work. Wouldn't that be something? While it's doing that, if you're wondering about a size comparison, here's the classic Game Boy. You can see this one's a little bit smaller. Not by much, but a little bit smaller. But it has, you know, kind of things in the same places as the other one. I got this for $6.99 at Value Village. Still works too. I believe that. Hey, does it have the batteries in here? I don't know, it didn't. I was like, I could just use the batteries in this one. So here's your RetroPie. It's all set up. Now, I don't have any games on this yet. You know, one can get games on there. Don't worry about all that. That means it's working. If you're not familiar with RetroPie stuff, that means it's working just fine. So getting things started, doing this, a little bit of that. And you need to get that image from the Yakima mods thing for this specific RetroFlag GPI case, because it also tells the Raspberry Pi that it's using the ribbon cable for this screen and not using the HDMI for output. Because you don't want it to output. You want it to play on the screen. That's why you have the screen and everything. You know, one thing I just haven't even done yet. I see it right now. Little peel off. Oh, I love it. There we go. Now it's a good looking reverse. Now, like I said, I don't have any games on here yet. Again, all the help mods and all there. You set it up through the Wi-Fi. You set up your Wi-Fi, then you transfer games from your computer to this via Wi-Fi. Simple, like I said, they make it as streamlined as possible, and there's a ton of support on that site for this. Like I said, I was gifted this for the sake of this video. However, they didn't ask for a video, and I'm certainly not getting a kickback of any kind if anyone does purchase said RetroFlag GPI case through their site. That was the one I was just using, and then I have this one over here too. Here's another something simple you can do. I say simple. It's another little something else you can do. And like I said, that is the perfect size. Fits right in there. You can even close that up if you'd like. Nothing getting in there now. All right. It's thinking about it. I thought this was pretty cool the first time I saw this. Again, it has the A, B, X, Y buttons, crosspad. Of course, the D-pad actually feels really good on this device too. I'm really happy about that D-pad. Start and select. And again, the L and R buttons, the L and R triggers are in the back for things like Super Nintendo that would use L and R triggers. PlayStation 1 games would work on this. Of course, PlayStation 1 games had, you know, L1, R1, L2, R2. However, you know, if you find a game that doesn't use those, or you don't need them, you can figure it out. No analog, doesn't need analog. There is music playing here. I could turn that up if you want. Just for fun. The reason it's showing video and all that, remember on the last one when I loaded up, it was just a bunch of text saying, "Hey, starting this." It looked like a old computer command lines or something. Well, all that's happening in the background. It's giving you something polite to look at if you don't want to just see random command lines. And then again, it loads up just fine. It's still thinking about it. See, you can see things loading. You can see things picking up there. Think about some of the games that you're really interested in playing. Maybe some of the TurboGrafx 16 games. What about Turbo CD games? You can play Turbo CD through this too. Some great games on there. Exile is a favorite of mine. Snatcher for the Sega CD. That'd be one. 21 games available. Now, when it says games, that's like almost like systems. let's look for, let's just hit X for random. What do we got? Super Nintendo. Perfect. We got a TurboGrafx 16 CD. That's that Turbo CD I was just talking about. Nothing wrong with that. Game Boy, Super Graphics. So many. PlayStation as well. Of course, the power button. Game Boy Color. You can do some Scum. Game Gear. Sure. Let's find a... Sega Master System's good. The Lynx is fine. Oh, some fun stuff here. I don't know. What do you think? Sure. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, Dracula X. That's the one you want. So which button is it to play? Let's have a look. Oh, I did it. I was going to say, I thought I hit the button. Maybe I didn't. And with the title screen. Give it time, give it time. There we go. See, that's the BIOS. And there is no start button on PC Engine games. I mean, there is a run button, I guess. There it goes. There's the run button. Classic. Oh, I should have had it turned up. I'm sorry. You're supposed to hear that. Oh, they even translated it for us. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, come on. Do we have to watch the whole thing the first time around? I think you do. I think you're supposed to watch the whole thing the first time around. No. Well, you know what I'm getting at, though. So, again, like I said, link in the description below if you want to check yours out. I also want to give a shout out and link to Mad Little Pixels channel. He does tech stuff like I do, but he also has a little bit more know-how and say on what I'm doing, and he does a great video on setting one of these up. In fact, this memory card that I'm using came straight from him. I just reached out to him saying, dude, if I give you the money for it, will you just give me the same card you used? And so I had mine set up and everything like that, and big thanks to him too. So I thank you for watching. Always cool stuff coming up.